Well, New Japan Pro Wrestling just wrapped up their latest tournament, the New Japan Cup, and we have crowned a winner. NWA is back with their latest pay-per-view, back for the attack, and also we're going to review AEW Dark Elevation. So all of that will be reviewed, discussed, and talk about on this episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up. 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 Get up, get up.
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that it's pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, matches, wrestlers, and championships. I'm your host, Jay Radier. So, let's begin with, of course, what happened in the semifinals and the finals of the New Japan Cup. Now, I'm not going to be able to review the other matches. I feel these are way more important than all of those, even though there were good matches, I'm not gonna lie. But let's go with the semifinals that took place on March 20th, this past Saturday. First match, it was Will Ospreay versus David Finlay. Now, many of you probably saw a lot of good things. I mean, there was a lot of things I did not expect, where Finlay's shoes was removed, tried to break him and sure that he doesn't win. I mean, Will has been playing a new type of tactic ever since he became the leader of this new faction, the United Empire. Now, luckily, there was not a lot of interference on this one, but it was a very, very extreme match. Now, and also, if you guys saw this, David Finlay showed up with the Impact World Tag Team titles. Now, you probably ask yourselves right now, how the hell did he brought those titles all the way sooner? Well, to be honest with you, all of the Impact shows are pre-taped. So, in case if you guys are wondering, that's how it works. You know, the magic of it. But I was kind of like, my friend Nico, I think, was expecting that Will could win this one because he's now become a fan of the United Empire. I feel like maybe they are now being pushed to a much broader, where you see, okay, you got a much powerful, deadliest villain faction, and here's the leader who is determined to prove wrong. I mean, look, Will Ospreay, we can talk about what a great junior heavyweight competitor he is, and now he stepped up the game to be part of the heavyweights, which is, I'm okay with, but it is what it is. So he won his match. Now we get to two former teammates facing off one another. We're talking about Evil, who is now with Bullet Club since he defected from LIJ, taking on LIJ member Shingo Takagi. Now, this was also another good match, but don't forget, in this particular match, Evil will always have his spoiler, his insurance policy, or as we call him, his pareja, to ensure that he wins his match. Now, keep in mind, those who have been following Evil, last year he was the defending champion of the New Japan Cup, and this also allowed him to win the double championship from Naito last year. But the real question is he able to do it again, or someone else? To me, I feel like Evil is probably overrated, you know? But I feel Shingo has impressed me enough more, because if you guys know about Shingo, Shingo was considered one of the best junior heavyweights from years ago when he was with Dragon Gate. He already obtained every title that there is, that they have there. But since he come to New Japan back in 2018, he did teamed up with Bushi in order to compete for the Junior Tag League. At the time, he was in that weight. But the following year, that's when he made the transition to heavyweight, and that's exactly what he did. Not to mention his performance in the heavyweight, even becoming the never openweight champion, it has put him status. But this match was great in every way I like. Not to mention, Dick Togo Dick got involved. You know, typical Togo. Or should I say typical Dick got involved. But nothing stopped Shingo from doing what he wanted to do. Win this cup. Now, for me, Shingo was amongst those who, one of those wrestlers who I believe he could win the whole thing. And he did. He won his match. But however, there is one more obstacle he had to go with. And that obstacle was the following day, which is the finals on March 21st. And of course, the reason that I've been behind recently was because the 21st was in fact my brother's birthday. But I'm not going to talk about that. But this match was so insane. Like, you couldn't tell in a way who is going to be the one to have the upper hand. Who is going to be the one? You look at Will. He has all the tools and skills in the world, and not to mention the insurance policy he has. I'm talking about B. Priestley and the other members of the United Empire. I'm talking about Cobb and Khan. As for Shingo, he didn't have anybody. It was all him on his own. But the one craziest thing that happened is Bushi was encouraging Shingo right at the moment that he could have lost the match in a countout to get back in there. But however, Will countered everything he did. He was able to do the hidden blade twice, but also pull off the Stormbreaker finisher on him, allowing himself to become the winner. Now, in post-match, this is the one thing that becomes like the most shocking moment of them all. Even it leaves the fans stunned. Ospreay called out Bushi. Turns out that Ospreay agrees with Ibushi to unite the titles. He said that he even admits the one thing he hates at this point is seeing Ibushi number one. Reason is, Ibushi is the current champion. And he said that he loves that championship more than anything or more that he loved. And the biggest shock, he cut his own girlfriend, B. Priestley. Everybody was shocked. And even in post-match interview, he actually said that he believes that Bushi is not God. Will Ospreay admit to himself he's not the devil. But he believes in himself, believing that this is his destiny to win the title, and he believes that he is the true leader of. I like how he's going with this storyline, is going with it. Because here's the thing. Bushi has been one of those wrestlers who we followed for years. We consider him as the Cinderella story. He's been already countless times, chance after chance, to have an opportunity to win the IWGP World Heavyweight title. He was close, but this time he wasn't. He was able to win those the double championship at Wrestle Kingdom early this year. He was able to put up a good defense multiple times, but however, his work is cut out. And now you look at Will Ospreay, who is playing this kingpin, who believes he is the true leader because that he worked real hard to get where he needs. So if that's what he's going to do, then so be it. I have to say this storyline with Will Ospreay is very interesting. But however, who's going to come on top on April 4th? We just got to wait and see when that happens. So I think that's it right now. So let's move on with NWA. Well, the NWA is finally back after who knows how long. I know they've been trying to stay afloat as much as possible because of the pandemic. I know things have changed. I know that many wrestlers have left the promotion, like Marty Bell, Allison Kay, who else? Ricky Stark, Zicky Dice, many others, because of they refuse to be paid and do nothing. We know where they're at. We know what they're doing right now. But right now, this is now, knowing that they're moving forward. And of course, this particular pay-per-view, Back for the Attack, is the first step coming back. But also, this was also a time to remember their fallen brother. I'm talking about Joseph Hudson, who, as we know him as Jocephus, and of course, one of the most beloved and most lovable characters, the Question Mark. As you know, it was already revealed weeks ago or a month ago, don't remember when, that he passed away. He was falling ill. There's still no word of what was his illness. I'm sure they're trying to keep it quiet, but please, people, after what happened with Brody Lee, stop assuming what you think you know. Whatever it is, it's best we just find out from the horse's mouth, from a loved one or people who know. It's better than love. But it was a very emotional event because Aaron Stevens in this particular event has a shot to fight for the most prestigious title in the NWA in history. I'm talking about the NWA World Heavyweight title. Now, both men knows this is not about the title. This is about one man in particular, and that person is Joseph Hudson. Now, let's get to the first match that they opened up. We had a fatal four-way match, or as the Japanese would say, a four-way. We have Slice Boogie, who I've seen before on the Level Up shows here in San Diego, but he had made appearances at Fist Combat a few times, which is another local promotion here. Taking on Jordan Clearwater, who I only seen once here on a Level Up show. He's been showing up at New Japan. Taking on Jack Stane, who was the former NWA World Champion before Tim Storm. And finally, Crimson, who Jack Stane had teamed up in the past, known as the War Kings, alongside with Road Warrior Animal. There was a good factor that I like with the commentators that they posted out. If, like I said, Jack Stane and Crimson were tag team partners, there will be a factor that was played out, and it did. It kind of did in a very good way, because, okay, once you eliminate your competition, you may never know if they're going to stab each other, or they'll be like, okay, we'll be one. And that kind of went in that direction. So basically, that was played out, but however, it did not work well enough because Slice Boogie was able to pick up a victory. And it was great that he won. So what's next for him? We just wait to see what's going to happen. Now, once again, for interviews, we have Mae Valentine, who we haven't seen for almost a year. She's now the official interviewer in the backstage. She interviewed Sal Renara, who's excited to be there. He's happy to be back with his BFF, and of course, excited for the for the main event, which is going to be great. So I'm excited for the whole thing. So we'll see what's going to go down the line. Now, this next match, we have one half of the NWA World Tag Team Titles champions, Kratos, who his partner is Aaron Stevens, but he's in the main event, taking on someone you guys know, Tyrus, who we knew him back then in WWE. I know a lot of fans don't like the idea of him being there, but it is what it is. But however, I feel that Tyrus being the heel in this one kind of played out pretty well, because it is like that, and people were booing Kratos and they were happy for Tyrus, but Tyrus goes up to the guy in the booth where he does the interviews in front of the public. He was upset that no one interviewed him about his role in the NWA. And I have to say, the way he switched it up, it kind of felt natural for me as a fan to see, okay, he's going to play the bad guy. But the one thing that was best, you got two giants in the ring. I mean, who wouldn't love that? It's kind of like Godzilla versus King Kong, which the movie's coming out soon. You probably can guess that. But however, it's a really good match. But however, I've seen Kratos, how dominant he was in New Japan, but this time it didn't go well. It kind of ended in the favor of Tyrus, and I don't know what he will be doing in NWA. He won the match, but we'll see where they're gonna go with it upcoming soon. Excuse me. Now, we have another interview with Trevor Murdoch, who is the current NWA national champion, who he beat the title from Aaron Stevens last year. But how during a show they did with the United Wrestling Network, they were doing that Shockwave thing as well. Trevor admit to himself that he knows that he has competition coming left and right. He's fully aware that he's a target, but the real question is, can they put him down? But his opponent will be Chris Adonis, but you may have known him in WWE as Chris Masters. But we'll get to that soon enough. Right now, let's get to the first championship match. This one is for the NWA TV Championship. It's Tom Latimer facing off the current champion, the Pope. Now, keep in mind, this match completely, it's only a 6-minute time limit. They decided to change the rules a bit, go with 10 minutes. Now, keep in mind, if there is no pinfall or submission during this type of match, the champion will retain the title. And it was a good match. Like, you can tell from the look of Tom Latimer, he wants to win this title. But the Pope, who, after what happened, he went through against Zicky Dice to obtain this title, he went through hell and back to prove a point, to show respect. Zicky Dice was showing disrespectful when before he lost the title. But now, Pope is trying to show he belongs there, that he is the rightful champion. But no matter who was going to submit the pinfall or submission, it still goes the same. They kick out or they will not submit. But however, the match ended in a time limit draw. Basically, match is over. The Pope retains the title, which I'm okay with, you know. But we'll see where they're going to go with it down the line. Now, the next match, this one is for the #1 contendership for the NWA World's Women's Championship that is currently being held by Serena Deeb. Now, I know there's been a lot of talk. Is Serena Deeb with NWA or AEW? Officially, she's with with AEW, but she also can work outside of the WWE because they only work one show a week. But however, of course, there's been that talk with Thunder Rosa about her contract status. Someone said that, oh, she's leaving. It turns out that from Billy Corgan. But I have to say, this match kind of played out exactly like I think it will be. But the match was great between Camille and Thunder Rosa. It's a great match. You look at Camille, this tall Amazonian lady who is determined to break people, especially those that stand in her way. You can tell like Thunder Rosa was kicking out no matter what Camille was throwing at her. Even the same thing with Thunder Rosa. But however, Camille was very calculated when she gave her 2 spears to put her down. So that means she will be facing Serena Deeb for the NWA Women's World Championship. Now, for me, I don't know if this could be the point where Thunder Rosa could be leaving the NWA, or she was still, because she's officially signed with the NWA, but however, she has done work with AEW and has her own promotion. I'm not sure. But we just got to wait and see what's going to happen in the upcoming weeks or months. Now, we had a very interesting interview coming from Austin Idol. Now, this guy is a legend in the NWA from what I understanding. He was there when Nick Aldis beat Tim Storm for the NWA World Championship at Combat Zone Wrestling. But the biggest surprising that was the reaction from both Joe Galli and Tim Storm. Austin Theory came to support Aaron Stevens, which was unusual. But I'll get to that in a bit. Now we get to the next championship match we have for the NWA National Championship, with Chris Adonis making his debut, or we know him as Chris Masters, taking on our champion, our favorite champion that we love and adore, Trevor Murdoch. I have to say, you look at old school versus new school. This is one of those matches that played out pretty well, in my opinion, in this. But however, the real question is, who is going to come on top? I mean, it is kind of difficult to tell, but it played out very, very well. Chris Adonis did apply the lock, but it still wouldn't work. Somehow there have been counters, but however, Trevor Murdoch pulled a beautiful pinfall, allowing himself to retain the title, but Adonis wouldn't show respect, so he continued to attack Murdoch, knowing that he lost big time. Now, before the start of the main event, Austin Idol gave his reasons why he supports Aaron Stevens. Aaron Stevens contacted him saying, "You know Adonis better than he knows himself. What are his weaknesses? What are his strengths?" So that's the reason Austin Idol supports him. It made a lot of good sense how this one is being played out. And now we get to the main event, which is for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship between Aaron Stevens, coming out in his karate gear, taking on Nick, the National Treasure, Nick Aldis, who is the current champion. I have to say this match was very emotional. Not emotional because, of course, Aaron Stevens wants to win this, or Nick Aldis trying to retain it. This is about Joseph Hudson. You know, this is a hit in his memory. And I know that's kind of, very sentimental for a lot of people, but keep in mind, he was one of those wrestlers that was part of the promotion. But I have to say, it did tell a good story how Aaron Stevens is determined to win a championship, that he wanted to do this, but not only for himself, but for Joseph Hudson. Nick Aldis did the same thing too. But however, Aaron Stevens came out short. He lost. I know he was emotional, but he had the mask of the question mark. And of course, they shown their respects to each other. Everybody from Camille, Tom Latimer, Thunder Rosa, they all came out to show their respects to Joseph Hudson. Now, what did I thought about the pay-per-view? It was pretty good, I have to say. Even though they have less audience, I mean, it was good to hear the crowd, but you don't see them. I give it a pass, in my opinion, for this. But can't wait to see for the upcoming, as you know. Today is Tuesday, March 23rd. It's Tuesday Wrestling, so I'm going to do an episode with the NWA Power episode in it, consistent with AEW Dark and Impact Wrestling. So I'll talk more about that in the upcoming episode. But for now, let's end the episode with AEW Dark Elevation. Okay, so we just entered the second episode of AEW Dark Elevation. Pretty good stacked matches that they have on this one. The timing on this one went up to somewhere over an hour and a half. Last time it was over 2 hours or so. But I had to say to keep up the pace. First match, we have Tay Conti versus Raylene. Of course, -1 was right there supporting Tay. I've always been impressed with Tay, with her fighting style with jiu-jitsu and a bit of the Muay Thai stuff. But, of course, she's going to win her match on this one. She's always impressive. Next match, we have Lee Johnson with Dustin Rhodes taking on Adam Pearce. Of course, this was Lee Johnson's return after what happened previously with QT Marshall just not helping him. This time he has Dustin on by his side, and he was able to pull up a win, which, as you know, he is now becoming a more recognizable star in the AEW brand. But yeah. Then we get an interview from Daja Gonzalez with Ryan Mendez. As you know, one of the triple main events, he's facing against Orange Cassidy. He doesn't know what to say. He feels like what the hell he is, He's not a wrestler. He's just a guy who's boring. I mean, don't underestimate Orange Cassidy, but That's how he plays out. I love that. Next match, we have a tag team match. We got the Varsity Blondes taking on Fuego del Sol and Jake St. Patrick. Now, of course, Big Show is yet to see the infamous Tornado DDT by Fuego del Sol, which he did, but however, there was a blind tag and allowed Griff Garrison to pick up the victory for his team. I have to say, I think the Varsity Blondes are now becoming a very more cohesive unit. You know, I like this team, you know. Next match, we got Max Caster versus Ryzen. Anthony Bowen is out due to injury. Don't know when he'll be back. But I like how Max Caster was able to try to use weakness against Ryzen, but it did work. He did apply the elbow to win the match on him, so he wins this one. The next thing they showed is a little new thing called the Rising Star, and this one is Red Velvet. As you know, she's now becoming more and more of a recognizable star, not because, you know, the way she goes straight out of your mama's kitchen. I have to say, I love how that character was developed, even when she mentioned where the name came from or the ring and the ring, where she's from. That kind of played out. She even gave a good background about her father being a boxer. He never even wanted her to be a boxer, but she did say her mom's the reason that she started watching wrestling, which is kind of unusual, but it works. And she is becoming a rising star. And of course, she's involved in the next match in the women's tag team match. First team, we got Maddie Rinkowski and Leva Bates. Now, previously, there was heated argument in the ring with these two because she got involved, and Leva Bates might have won that match. But however, they're set to face Red Velvet and Big Swole. I have to say those two really got along great. They really were on the same page, but not Maddie Rinkowski or Leva Bates. But it did lead to Leva Bates to walk out in the middle of her match, leaving Maddie Rinkowski in the hands of Red Velvet. Big Swole just lay down and chill out, let her have her moment, and she did. But however, it didn't end like that. Out of nowhere, Red Velvet's arch nemesis shows up, but not alone. She had Nyla Rose and, of course, Vicky Guerrero. So I don't know if this is going to be an interesting feud, but we'll see how it's going to be played out. Now, the next interview we have is Ethan Page, who's well aware he's going to be facing against Alan Five Angels, but, you know, Ethan Page is all ego. I have to say that the same type of thing where he's all ego kind of fits better now since he left Impact Wrestling. I know that there's been he was a tag team specialist in Impact, but now that he's stepping up as a singles competitor, I'm okay with the idea. So his match is involved in the triple main event against Alan Five. That's a little later. Next match is a tag team. We got Team Taz, Ricky Starks, and Powerhouse Hobbs, along with Hook, taking on Jarrell Nelson and Royce Isaacs. Now, I don't need to tell you who won this one because you can guess. Team Taz. All thanks to Powerhouse Hobbs. Now, the next match, we got Danny Limelight and Black versus Black Baron. Now, I have talked about Danny Limelight a lot. I met him a few times. Cool cat. He really is. I don't know if AEW has their sights on him because I don't know if this is his second or third win so far. I know he won against Fuego del Sol, not a couple weeks or a month ago. I'm not sure. But if I was AEW, I would pay attention to Danny Limelight. He was really impressive, and he really is a phenomenal wrestler. You know, if you guys haven't seen him, Danny Limelight is well popular out here in the Southern California area. And yeah, you know, that's what I like about him. So if you guys get the chance to see him, then you guys know what I'm referring to. But he did win his match. Very impressive. Now we get to the first match of the triple main event. We got Ryan Mineth versus coming from wherever, weigh in, whatever. Orange Cassidy, I have to say, Ryan Mendez did knew that he played out a very good psychological way where he knows Orange Cassidy, once you put his hands in his pockets, you know no matter what he's going to do. But when he's out of the pockets, he's that guy that will take it full on extreme. But he was unable to pick up the victory. Orange Cassidy beat him. But once again, Mendez did not take losing to a guy who put his hand in his pockets. Likely, Chuck Taylor showed up to give him a helping hand, but he gets a visit from JD Drake. I don't know what's the deal with JD Drake and Mendez. I don't know if there's going to be a partnership between them. I'm not sure. It's still like doesn't make sense to me. Like, what's the purpose of him getting involved? But we'll see down the line where they're going to go. Second main event, we got Ethan Page versus Alan Five Angels. Now, for the Dark Order fans, you would have assumed, oh, they're going to win the match. But I have to say Alan Five Angels really stepped up a little bit in this game. But however, he came up short with All Ego Ethan. I have to say for him, Ethan Page is now becoming a well-recognized singles competitor. It's doubtful that he will step into a tag team competition anytime soon. But I don't know. I have that distinct feeling that he could be one of those guys that could go after the TNT Championship down the line, or maybe the world title. But I feel he should get the TNT title first. He won his match, and he gave a very interesting promo. He even put the entire AEW locker room on notice. And I'm very excited to see where they're going to go with this one. Now, the main event, we got Ryo Mizunami, the runner-up and the winner of the AEW Women's World Title Eliminator, taking on the newly additioned Layla Hirsch. It was a pretty good match. Like, you can tell that these two women are being the stronger competitors. But the real question is who will come on top. Layla Hirsch tried to apply the armbar on her, but it didn't work out that much. But Ryo was able to pick up a fantastic victory. If I was AEW, I would give Ryo Mizunami more of a chance to wrestle in the US. I mean, I know we have Ryo, we got Shida. I mean, I wouldn't mind having Ryo Mizunami coming back, because I know many fans love seeing her, and I know that her story about what I didn't know about her, how she was on the verge of retiring, but AEW opened up her perspective. I feel that AEW should give her a chance to compete in AEW. What do you guys think, But Ryo Mizunami continues to impress me a lot, too, because even though I seen her once at the very first pay-per-view, Double or Nothing in 2019, but now seeing her here, I feel like they should put her on more. But it all depends on, well, I know she's a freelancer, but we'll see where they're going to go. But I'm very happy with that. So I think that's it for now for all of you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this review, me talking about the finals of the New Japan Cup, the NWA returning, and of course the second episode of AEW Dark Elevation. Stay tuned for the next episode, which is going to be Tuesday Wrestling, where we got NWA Power, AEW Dark, and of course Impact Wrestling. So I must bid all of you guys adieu, or should I say I'll see you guys next time on the next DWZ time, next DWZ channel. I must bid all of you guys adieu. So goodbye. Mwah! And have a nice day.